Grape.
It is the first fruit cultivated in human history. Zhang Qian's birth brought grapes. This is the knowledge we learned in our textbooks. However, people also discovered 9,000 years ago. What appears to be grapes appeared here at Jiahui. Why is the wine produced? Will space-time be debated? Modern stone grapes and ancient grapes. How exactly are they connected? The story behind this is very complicated. It wasn't until 2023 that he could barely manage to take office. And the Rosaceae family, which includes apples and pears. Oranges and pomelos belong to different families, such as the Vitaceae family. Grapes belong to the Vitaceae family. It is a small family with only over 700 species. They already existed during the goose season. Originally, it may be a low shrub that lives in open areas. With the forest, aircraft expanding their competition for sunlight between meridians, grape shells choose to overtake via a curve. The climbing branches turned into vines. You guys are rolling it out, right? I use tendrils to help myself climb. For example, ground squirrel, also known as ivy. It's actually a grape's hell species. They absolutely must not wear anything, and there's still a play field to play with. Is it tiger or not? The base of the Vitaceae family. Originally in the North and Eurasia, it also expanded to 6 continents. However, with the arrival of ice and gas 5 million years ago when the flag was raised, cold-sensitive grapevines were targeted for treatment, especially in Europe. Most mountain ranges run east-west. Grapes simply cannot withstand the erosion of glaciers. Grapevines in Asia and North America. The losses suffered were relatively small. More than 40 species of wild grapes survive in Asia. Only 30 species survive in North America. Only one type of grape survived in southern Northern Europe. Eurasian wild grapes are also called forest grapes. Forest grapes can produce bunches of small berries. They use the juicy pulp to attract birds to eat it. Then you can fly with the fragrance. For large animals like humans, the crispness of forest grapes weighs only 3,070 grams. It is indeed a bit small. But can you be smaller than a grass seed? 11,000 years ago.
Green grape.
It became the first fruit to be domesticated in human history. Amazing! Grapes were domesticated independently in 2 different regions. One region is the Caucasus region. Where exactly is the Caucasus? You might not have a concept of this. Actually, it is. It's the area of Georgia, Dalin's hometown. Another base was in West Asia. That is, the consistently popular Uncle Leah, Lebanon, Israel, and other places. Of course, after thousands of years of diffusion, the loop shape, grapes from these 2 places. I don't even know how far Eve gone. No DNA testing. It's impossible to tell whose genes have a higher percentage. Forest grapes were recycled and became Eurasian grapes. That is, grapes without any humiliating porcelain. Besides the fact that the fruit pieces are heavier. Higher output. Originally grapes. It is a gender-different scholar. To get the result, you need to win a pair. But what happens after they are domesticated? It actually became hermaphroditic. The principle behind it is unclear. But it is indeed very humane. Theoretically speaking, domesticating grapes.
Just eat it directly.
After all, grapes have a really high sugar content.
How tall?
We can look at this table. It can be seen. Even the lowest sugar content of wild grapes. It also exceeds 90 grams per liter. What does this mean? This sugar content. It is 15 times that of cultivated watermelons. The higher order species even reached 1467 grams per liter. It's almost identical to cultivated lychee, but why? The index data of wild grapes is so high. But cultivated grapes with higher sugar content. It didn't taste very sweet, though. The reason is, wild grapes contain a large amount of organic acids. Overall, it's about 20 grams per liter. Organic acids. It contains a significant amount of extremely sour 90 acid, equivalent to 46 times the amount of grapes.
Such a huge amount of organic acids.
The grapes don't taste sweet at all. It's so sour it makes my teeth ache. It's simply impossible to consume in large quantities. Despite such a high sugar content, it's impossible to enjoy it. How can we solve this problem? When ancient humans couldn't stand the acid, store these grapes that we didn't have time to eat. 1 year later, unexpected, these piled up grapes. Surprisingly, it fermented and produced a very pleasant smell. This is wine. Because grapes have a high sugar content, as a result of fermentation, its alcohol concentration can reach 15 degrees. It tastes strong. Does strong liquor always taste good? Alcohol has absolutely no fun with water, but it's in the grapes. There are just a few evil people. One is wine, the other is sour. It has a very strong sour taste. Stable properties. Unyielding. The crime is unforgivable. Putting it into a fermentation tank should be called chinka refining. It is precisely because wine is sour. Instead, it reduced the extreme value. It has a bactericidal effect. It also enhances the chemical properties and luster of the wine. More stable and does not deteriorate. One is malic acid. It has the highest content of organic acids. It's the culprit for reducing sweetness. Transformed in a fermentation tank. Customer quantification. Malic acid is produced by the action of lactic acid bacteria. Turn into lactic acid. Not only does the acidity decrease, it also gives the wine a buttery texture. Smooth and slippery. Grape seeds and grape skins contain a large amount of dantion. It is one of the sources of astringency. Can react with proteins. Damage to the intestinal mucosa. You have to spit out the grape skins when you eat grapes. Heinous crimes. Put into a fermentation tank and grind into powder. Chinka refining. Tannin macromolecules directly form a large mass. The chemical formulas of acid and phenol cannot be solved at all. Then they react and combine to transform. Formation of diverse lipids and square rings. Let the flavors of wine unfold and savor them. It is precisely because it has been made into wine. Grapes have gone from being a chicken bone to a bear's paw. As early as 9,000. Fake protected site from years ago. It originated from a pottery jar. There are many deposits of 93 and 93 yuan in the 16 pottery pieces. This is the characteristic of wine and hawthorn wine. Inside the fake ruins, there are also a large number of wild grape seeds. So 9,000 years ago, it is very likely that wines containing grapes exist in China. So where do the grapes in these wines come from? You should know. China has half of the world's grape customers. The wild grapes I planted. It's actually quite common. The poem Mianyan Ji Lei by Wang Feng in the Book of Songs contains the character Mianyan Ji Lei. The sentence about the tiger in the river. Gulay is a type of native wild grape. The Book of Songs mentions the ice-covered July and the appetite and response of June. Sentences about wanting to glimpse numbers in July. This English word also refers to a type of native wild grape. These wild grapes from Chaochuan. Both are suitable for making wine.
So,
wines that sound very fancy. On the contrary, it is one of the oldest wines. Not only China has wine. In many parts of Eurasia, wine is also more than country. It appears earlier. In a cave in Armenia, there's a 6,000-year-old winery. There are naughty fermentation cans inside the cave. Grapes domesticated in the Caucasus region. It also spread along the north bank of the Black River to Romania, Ukraine, and other Eastern European regions. The West Asian populations have a more powerful ability to spread. They followed Turkey. It spread to the Balkan Peninsula 8,000 years ago. It spread to the Iberian Peninsula 7,700 years ago. That is, the place where Spain and Portugal are located. He also followed the northern coast of the Black Sea. They arrived near the journey to the west around 6,900 years ago. Of course, they are along the North African coast. It spread to Egypt and Morocco. The time period was probably around 5,000 years ago. In ancient Egyptian murals, grapes are a very common fruit, besides being able to brew wine. Grapes. Furthermore, dual-purpose brewing for both fresh consumption and winemaking has emerged in West Asia. Grapes from West Asia even spread to India. Then it spread from Xinjiang to the Central Plains. This is the grape mentioned in the four-character path. However, the grapes are most likely in Zhang Qian's possession. It had already been circulating before. On the one hand, in the 1970s, archaeologists at the Xianying Palace ruins, the umbilical cord was discovered. There are grapes in the mural. It's a pity that we can't see it because it can't be protected. 14 BC, before Zhang Qian bled, Sima Xiangru mentioned cherries and grapes in his poem, The Morning of My Father. The saying of the hidden husband and the younger brother. Grapes are just grapes. Jade is cherry jade. Compared to native wild grapes. Eurasian grapes, domesticated over thousands of years. The competitiveness is undoubtedly much stronger. That was something only noble families could enjoy. Special supply of high-end products. During the Three Kingdoms period, there was an extremely great emperor. I love sweets. He just eats dry food every day. Qiao Pai, the Emperor Wen of Wei, who even fought on the battlefield while eating fruit. He really likes grapes and wine. If it is not refreshing because of raisins, cold but not cold, gastrointestinal fluid.
At last.
Qiao Pai may also have died from complications of diabetes. He died a worthy death. Qiao Pai's greatness lies in his refusal to eat poisonous food. They also vigorously promoted the cultivation of grapes among the general public. Drive down the price of grapes. During the Tang Dynasty, grapes spread from the palace to the common people. There are numerous private records of grapes. Li Bai sometimes marveled at wine. Hu Ji at 15 plays with Ma Tua. Han Yunyu is a red grape seed. Shaking fruit fragrance, fucking Baiju cloud travel metabolism, purple grapes. Cool flower red. Lu Yusin has a new wine cup filled with grapes and luminous wine. The pipa urges me to drink on horseback. Ha ha ha, how delightful. The Yuan dynasty was the pinnacle of Chinese wine development. Wine became a special sacrificial drink. Marco Polo also recorded the stove. There are many grape cultivation areas near Taiyuan. By the Ming and Qing dynasties, the status of grapes is no longer what it was in the Yuan dynasty. The grapes that are hidden and difficult to know. It seems to radiate its own charm. It has become a mediocre fruit. But soon, an event significant enough to impact global history has occurred. That is Columbus discovering the New World. In the Americas, wild grapes also exist, and quite a lot. For example, American grapes are also called Hu grapes. Its fruit also contains methyl bromide. Some people say, he smells like body odor. Some people say, this smells like burnt food. His fruit was large and round. It is one of the important fruits of North American Native Americans.
Besides,
there are also grapes found along the riverbank. Extremely strong vitality. Riverside grapes that can grow in winter.
dry, sweet, and juicy.
But it can only grow in summer, the king of summer retreats.
Grapes.
The king of winter warmth that gets even sweeter when frozen. Double grape. Must grow king that can grow in arid areas. Reborn grape. There are so many versatile wild grapes. But what about the Europeans? Choose to plant traditional Eurasian grapes. After all, from a winemaking perspective, output is the only true measure of success. But Eurasian grapes. Their performance in North America, however, was less than satisfactory. Winter temperatures in northern North America are too low. Grapes are prone to freezing to death. Hot and humid in the south. Grapes are prone to poor growth. Overall, North America has many extreme climates. Maps with random hurricanes and cold waves always spawn.
Destroy the machine.
Not conducive to grape growth. On the other hand, North America has many grape-related products. The most famous sexually transmitted pest is grape root bud. They parasitize the leaves and roots of grapevines. The resulting accents and nodules are definitely a blessing for those with dense pores. Grapes whose stems he gnawed off will slowly become poisonous. Decay and death. Late 19th century. Reverse output of grapes and sulfur bacteria. This resulted in the destruction of 2/3 to 9/4 of Europe's vineyards. Wine production decreased by 34%. In the old era, how do you deal with grapes and green buds? First of all, it involves applying lime or similar substances to the soil. The second is root buds. After all, it's not a virus. It will not be transmitted through the air. So, what about the grapes from the reverse lawsuit in North America? Quarantine. If you don't plant, then it's all over. The third is grafting and hybridization. Eurasian grapes. Grafted to American grape varieties that are not easily infected by various buds, which can also grow grapes in the Americas, to enable North America to produce wine as well. The power of joy is indeed effective. It is precisely because of grafting and hybridization techniques. This is what enabled Eurasian grapes to be centered around a single species. It has something comparable to citrus fruits, the diversity of a large group of fruits, such as roses. Functionally speaking, grapes can be divided into three major categories: dry brewing, brewing, and fresh consumption. Among them are grape varieties with a long history. It is a descendant of the Eurasian grape variety. What was the earliest human cycle? Grape varieties that have emerged. This is now impossible to know. However, there is one variety that is indeed very ancient. It is a seedless white, atomized white cloth, cultivated all over the world. It was introduced to Xinjiang around the time of the New Border. Its main use is in making raisins, because grapes are not more viscous. It won't be like apples and bananas. They ripen very quickly after being picked. Under the dry conditions of Xinjiang, it turns into raisins very easily, although wu and bai appear to be light green. However, if we directly dry wu and bai, they will oxidize and turn brown. Oh, it doesn't look good. The solution is, build a house with many holes. Bunches of grapes hang on the trellis. Let the hot air pass through. Grapes are not sun-dried, but glossy. This will allow wu and bai to maintain their tender green color. Besides the beautiful colors, wu and bai also have another advantage. It basically has no core, although wu and bai could also. Normal pollination. However, what happens after the fruit develops for about 3 or 4 days? It failed directly because it couldn't produce seeds. This also meant that wu and bai could only propagate through cuttings. Asexual reproduction through layering and other methods, although it is asexual reproduction. But don't assume that wu and bai. This led to a dead end in the cultivation process. After all, even cells can become cancerous, like a thick fog spreading white. It was 140 years ago. Tetraploid dental variants discovered in Turpan.
Cultivated.
There's also the long, foggy river white in the stock market. That was the previous driver. Mutant bud varieties discovered in the 1950s. In Xinjiang, there is also a very ancient long grape variety. It's called white horse milk, also called Mara's milk. It is both scorpion grape and self-sweet grape. These two are not in conflict. Many self-proclaimed grapes? Actually, they are all older models of scorpion grape. Laid-off workers seeking employment. This can be considered as playing to one's strengths and avoiding one's weaknesses. Make the best use of resources. To be honest, the requirements for varieties are very strict. That would definitely have to be wine grapes. Wine grapes. Most are descendants of Eurasian grapevines. After thousands of years of development, modern wine, it's still developed into a book of knowledge that we have studied. Add a red one before wine. This wasn't added randomly. If you observe the pulp of the grape, you will find. What is the color of the pulp? It's actually not that deep. Most are light green or light yellow. So how do you turn wine red? Actually, you don't need to use your brain, because grape skins contain anthocyanins. It will automatically turn the wine red. This is a batch of fermented wine. It's red wine, because grape skins also contain a high amount of tannins. Therefore, the flavor and taste of red wine are more. We've mentioned before that the particles in the crowbar are mixed in with the fruit. High content per unit makes it unsuitable for direct use. In fact, the individual item content in the project is also very high. Using the project to make wine barrels, this can indirectly enhance the flavor of red wine. The door also has a fiber that can increase the amount of health points restored. What is the most famous variety for making red wine? Cabernet Sauvignon is the one that comes to mind. Cabernet Sauvignon. It consists of long, blue incense threads and thunderbolt beads. 600 years ago, obtained by accidental hybridization. The young wine made from it, there will be black vinegar grains, the refreshing aroma of plum and mint, because its fruit is small, only about 15 grams. Therefore, the proportion of peel is larger. In addition, its peel is thick. This results in it being rich in tannins. But Ningüe is rich. Through the trials of time, the more flavorful substances are released during decomposition. Upgrade wine without Shandong insects. It gets better with age. It is also suitable for long-term collection. Raise the following. If you still have no concept of Cabernet Sauvignon, so please look at the company he founded under his English name, Savico. We came one by one. By Na to. It's the Jibai Na from the advertisement. It was originally a grape variety. It was later registered as a trademark. This shows how sought-after Cabernet Sauvignon is. Cabernet Sauvignon is a white gem. But Jabra is not just Cabernet Sauvignon. Pierre Joy, one of the parents of Cabernet Sauvignon. There are also snake dragon balls that look like they're a New Year limited edition. These 3 beads. Both can be called Jibai Na. If you don't like strong, full-bodied red wine, I don't like its astringent and tight texture, that refreshing white wine. That's much easier to accept. Unlike red wine, because no dyeing is required. So most white wines, they are all fermented without the skin on. The grape pulp retained its whiter color.
Meanwhile, what about?
Because it does not contain tannins. It tastes even more refreshing. It tastes even sweeter when chilled. That reminds me a bit of apple cider vinegar mixed with alcohol. And above that, white wine. Do not use small amounts of red grape skins for dyeing. You can then get rose wine in various shades. The world, the largest white wine grape planting area,
Called.
This name, for those who frequently drink wine, it might be a little unfamiliar. This is because Allen primarily serves as the raw material for authenticating wine.
Brandy.
And what is the meaning of brandy itself? It is grape distillate. He is the world's largest plantation area, the 4th largest wine grape. The planting area reached 250,000 hectares. And Allen, although his planting area is large, however, his main battleground was in the distilled spirits industry, in white wine grapes. The most representative example is Charlotte. He is from Berkeley, the world's 5th most popular wine grape variety, second only to Allen. It has a planting area of 210,000 hectares worldwide. It has the oldest grapes. Number 1. The white bone was naturally hybridized with the Bainong family. The sketch is very energetic, highly adaptable. Around the world, you can see them everywhere. It is said, what's the taste of the wine made with Chedila? It will also change with the region. It produces its own unique flavor, especially the champagne, hand-grown champagne from France. A certain amount of yeast is added during brewing. Let it produce bubbles like soda. It's the world-famous champagne. Is this the ranking of the voice of China? Is it right or wrong? France has Chateaubriand. Spain has Alan. So, what does Germany have to offer? Riesling. Not only does the name sound very complete, almost all of Germany's good wines, they are all brewed using it. Unlike Sjaduoli, wine made from Riesling, most of them are produced through brewing processes. The acidity of the wine has been deliberately preserved. Let him drink it to quench his thirst even more. Perfect for summer drinking. The most dazzling pearl among all grapes. It's what people often confide in each other. Fresh grapes. In the grape family, there is a very important series. That is the Amaranth grape family from Eurasia. It can be said to be the oldest grape, the most enormous family. There are small green fragrant grapes, etc., suitable for making white wine. There are various kinds of fresh food. They have another name. It's called Muscat grapes. Simply add color and fragrance grapes. What about the offspring of the hybridization site? Almost all of their names contain the word rose or fragrant. I mentioned grape shells earlier. There are many promising wild species. People didn't actually stop their development and utilization. Many cultivars have been developed. For example, it is often used to make juice in North America. Concord jam. It refers to the cultivated varieties of who grapes. In the last 100 years, finally someone remembered. Crossbreeding wild grapes with Eurasian grapes. Currently, it seems, the popular grapes we eat in the market. Many of them are based on Eurasian grapes. Mixed grape group. Genes from other wild grape groups were hybridized. For example, in 1937, Japan uses American grapes. That is, a variety of who grape. 10 yuan early birth as the mother. Eurasian grape varieties. Ikuta mud seedless grapes copy.
Cultivated.
The world's first artificially hybridized grape. Because their parents were both tetraploid variants. His size was naturally also enormous. The average pulp weight is 83 grams, so it's called hurricane. It always gives people the feeling that it's a specialty of Northeast China. Hurricane grapes. One of its characteristics is that its skin is very easy to peel. With one squeeze, the flesh comes out. Some students will definitely say, "I remember grapes. Wasn't it supposed to be that the flesh could be easily extracted by squeezing?" Because most of us have. The purple grapes I ate. It's actually hurricane grape.
It not only grows fast,
Strong adaptability. The output is also very high. It is also very easy to produce secondary effects. The growth cycle is only 130 days. In the world of grapes, that's considered very fast. So, what about hurricane grapes? It was introduced to China very early on. It has a great influence. It can be described as a film and television hurricane. Too many obstacles. The quality is naturally not very stable. On the contrary, it gives people a very traditional and local feeling. Collection of previous texts. If we put the grape filling device. Advantages of American grapes. They gathered together at the same time. What kind of varieties will be created? He is Sunshine Rose. It's from Japan. In the 1980s, use American grape varieties 1 pound to
91.
Offspring of hybridization with the Eurasian grape variety, by Nan. The copper window and the hurricane window were produced by the same research institute. As for the words King of Qin, well, sun roses grown in Okayama Prefecture, Japan. Later, because sales were so good. In Japan, more and more people are wishing their children a sunny rose. It even surpassed hurricane grape in 20 years. Sunshine Rose. Introduced to China in 2006 through Project 98. Between 2015 and 2016, slowly starting to enter the Chinese market. I remember buying it at Pangdonglai in early 2023. It still costs 70 yuan per kilogram. However, it decreased tenfold in just 2 years. These Shine Muscat roses sold domestically. Whether it's 10 yuan for 3 gene, still costing tens or hundreds of yuan per kilogram. Actually, they're all domestically grown grapes. However, in the early days, due to the immaturity of the technology, low production volume makes it relatively expensive. Not imported from Japan. That's impossible. It could be the king of Qin. Because of Japanese grapes, it was not allowed to be imported. But after many years of development, the production of Shine Muscat roses in China, it has reached 40 times that of Japan. The planting area exceeds 14 million mu. It can be planted from south to north. There's always a suitable month for germination and fruiting. Let me add something about the Shine Rose variety. It does contain seeds. Want to grow seedless Shine Muscat roses? Plant growth regulators are then needed. In our lives, there are also some real grapes called skin. This hoof. The relationship between grapes and pineapples is similar. The earliest one was developed in the United States. Grapes called red globe. Because in Hong Kong, grapes are called Bodhi seeds. To sell well and elevate its image. Merchants. They even gave red earth the extra name hoof. Just like how eggplants with eggplant shells and melons are called ginseng fruit. The same goes for the citrus genus in the Astringency family, called yacon. It means that all 6 sticks from Journey to the west have been divided up. In other words, the leather. The only problem is that the merchants don't care about the color of the preserved egg buns. Grapes with relatively firm flesh may be called by other names. I don't have any accurate concept at all. There are no relatives of the red earth. Concepts of blood ties, such as garlic and grapes.
It really is just a name.
Since American grapes can be hybridized, does wild grape in China have any practical value? There definitely is. That's wild grapes. Distributed in northeast China and Siberia. Can withstand temperatures as low as 4,050 degrees Celsius without dying. Use it to make real wood. It's like a powerful injection of antifreeze. Since the 1970s, wild grape cloth was also gradually embroidered. Changbai No. 9 was selected.
Swishan No. 1.
Double cow upper right, and other breeds. Using wild grapes and thorn grapes is even more important. Its surface was unusually covered with sharp thorns. Residents of Yushan County, Jiangxi Province, intentionally or unintentionally, the Tangwei variety was domesticated. Because its wound heals relatively quickly, it is not easy for cuttings to root. Therefore, humans would use another type of wild grape. Grape propagation in East China using real wood grafting. In the early 1980s, there were still more than 3,000 Tangwei plants cultivated. Its ear of fruit weighs an average of 1183 grams. Naturally harvested fruit can be stored for 1,520 days. Because it is distributed in the humid south. Tangwei on high temperature.
Gauss.
The sudden lockdown investigation showed strong adaptability to the hot and humid environment. Not susceptible to black bean disease and anthracnose. It is very likely to become potential complement to the genetic disadvantages of Eurasian grapes. Grapes are one of the earliest fruits to be considered virtual by humankind. Originally a small, unnamed science in nature. 11,000 years ago, grapes encountered humans, becoming humanity's first love in the fruit world.
Wine.
It also became the first beverage consumed by humankind. Wine is the blood of God. From Dionysus to Jesus. He once accompanied the soldiers on the front lines as they fought on the battlefield. Half of it is the kings and nobles of this paradise who revel every night. Raisins can store high-quality sugars for a long time. Humans not only from them. For the first time, it was confirmed in biology. Remove the glucose of varying weights. Even yeast. It can also be easily obtained from its appearance. In the long river of time, grapes are not like jujubes. Like the crabapple blossom, it was forgotten. Based solely on a single Eurasian walnut, they can squeeze into the fruit industry in Wuchang. When the potential of the 3 developers is high, his close relatives, it brings even more surprises. Until now, the exploitation of wild grapes has not stopped. Eating grapes. There are also varieties cultivated using modern technology. Purple Hill grapes. Grapes infused human civilization with the first drop of crimson. Those ones. And he will also honor the end of human civilization.